Welcome to the 2023 Welsh Open course preview. The tournament is being played at Felin Geri Disc Golf Course on the West Welsh coast. Players will be competing on a par 66 20-hole championship layout. The tournament's being run and organised by Alan and Jane Worley and the National BDGA Director Iain McDougall. And as always, these course previews are filmed, edited and narrated by myself, Bubba, here at Ace Disc Golf. Let's get into it. The first 10 holes here at Felin Geri are on the steep hillside, and we start with one of the toughest holes, hole 1, 122 metre par 4 on a very steep right to left hill. The road all the way down to your left is going to be OB. Woodland paths on your right are inbounds, and the wooden barriers are just to stop your disc from rolling down the hill. They do not mark any OB. The key to these wooded holes is matching the angle of your disc to the gradient of the hill. Hole 2 is a touchy downhill 104 metre par 3. There is a mando left on the power line pole. If you do miss the mando, proceed to the drop zone. Otherwise, you've got to navigate all these trees, land something really nice and softly to scooch up to this well guarded basket. Hole 3 may seem short at 55 metres, but it feels like you're throwing 55 metres up into the air as well. Don't huck it too far past the basket or else you'll be staring down the most terrifying death putt. Hole 4 is a much tougher par 3 than it looks. It comes in at 75 metres. You need to hit this gap straight off the tee, and you need to get something to land on the downslope down by the basket, which makes this a technical yet touchy shot. It is worth mentioning there is a mando on this hole to prevent players from playing down the path. As you can see from the drone footage, hole 5 is a steep uphill 62 metre par 3. Pick a gap, be it forehand or backhand, get up by the basket and give yourself a putt. Hole 6 plays heavily downhill. You can disc down to a putter, just let it fly down to the basket, but be careful because there is OB right behind the basket. Hole 7 is a deceivingly hard 42 metre par 3. There's no OB and no mandos, but be careful of that left kick off those trees, because if you catch an edge and roll down the hill, very, very difficult to save par, trust me. Hole 8 is one of the more gettable holes on the front 10. It's a 145 metre par 4. You've got to hit this initial gap and get out into this wide fairway. Then you've got a really wide open upshot with a treacherous green. This comes back to getting your disc on the same angle as the gradient of the hill. Coming off one of the easier holes in the woods, we're going into one of the hardest. This is hole 9, 145 meter par 3. You've got to thread a late needle in the fairway and keep your disc traveling towards the basket. It's a fantastic hole when you get it right, but that's quite rare. We have come to the last hole in the woods, and that is hole 10, a 61 meter downhill par 3. Off the tee, you must go through the triple mando, which is under the barrier and through the 2 trees. If you miss the mando, there is a drop zone. The road and beyond players OB, and there will be 2 marked areas for casual relief. You may take your next shot back on the line of play if you were in one of these areas. We are now down off the hill with a great opportunity to score. We're at hole 11, 145 meter par 4, just a mando right at the power line pole straight in front of you, and the course property fence line on the right is OB. Hole 12, where the main objective is getting it past the trees in front of you. Thread that gap and you've got a really good opportunity to be up on the green. This is an 87 meter par 3, and the boundary fence to your right is OB. Hole 13, you have a decision to make. You can go high left, high right, or down the tunnel in the middle. But you've got to be careful because that river comes into play really quick. This par 3 comes in at 94 meters. Hole 14 most probably plays as the easiest hole on the whole entire course. It's a 160 meter par 4 with no OB on the course apart from the river that plays on your right, but you should easily be able to stay out of it. Hole 15 is one of the scariest tee shots on the property. It's a 75 meter par 3 playing over the river and through a gap in the trees. The drop zone should be used if you go out of bounds. If you don't want to play the tee shot, you may proceed to the drop zone and throw your 3rd shot from there. Hole 16 is a 115 meter par 4 dogleg right. All of the white staked areas play as hazard, and the river on the right plays as OB. Are you tempted to go for eagle, or are you just going to break this hole down for an easy birdie? Hole 17 is the first of 2 temporary holes. It is a par 4 that comes in 125 meters. There's a clear mando left from the tee shot. If you miss the mando, you're going to be re-teeing. The obvious hazard of the river on your left plays as OB. Hole 18 is the last temporary hole. It's a par 3 coming in at 85 meters. You have to hang something out wide to the right and let it fade into the basket. With the river framed up behind the basket, this is the most terrifying part on the course. Are you laying up or are you cashing in your birdie putt? Hole 19 is a 90-meter par 3. The staked area surrounding the green is played as hazard. There are 2 pars leading onto the green and off the green. These are not hazard. This is my personal favourite hole on the course, and I really hope they introduce Sunday pins very soon. The finale hole, hole 20, an 89-meter par 3. You are playing over an OB river. The road to the right is OB, but the ditch behind the basket is in play and the mud and the water is casual. You may take relief away from the line of play. Now go get yourself a drink from the cafe because you just tamed the dragon.